Hey guys. This video I'm going to discuss the difference between future tripping and planning and how that can help you fulfill on your vision. Please subscribe to my channel so that you can get my weekly videos that I put out on codependence and trauma healing. And here we go with the video. All right, happy Friday and happy Fridays with Fidelman. I'm Cheryl Fidelman, life coach, trauma healer, and writer. And today's topic on Fridays with Fidelman is what is the difference between future tripping and planning? First of all, thanks for your patience, guys. I keep changing my background, and you guys have really reached out and given me a lot of pointers. Trying to keep the production quality nice. So there'll be probably some changes in the background. So the difference between future tripping and planning. Now, the other thing that I'm doing is I'm trying not to cut off the top of my head in my videos. So there's been a lot of manipulating of lights and things. So I appreciate your patience and your feedback when it comes to my production quality. So somebody asked me the other day, what is the difference between future tripping and planning? Because in my work, future tripping is a very specific distinction. So in my work as a trauma healer, my vision as a trauma healer is the ultimate expression of each and every one of my clients, okay? Peeling away the layers of fear, peeling away the layers of trauma that caused the fear, peeling away the layers of codependence in my work, the way I look at it, codependence is the way we demonstrate our unhealed trauma. So we look at how we're hooked into other people, how we're hooked into our fears, and how really our unhealed trauma and our codependence is running the show. So when it comes to future tripping, what I say in my work is that codependence is constantly future tripping. It's never present. Right? So when we're future tripping about even if future tripping 30 seconds into the future. Like if I say this thing, then they're going to say that thing, so I'm not going to say the thing that I'm going to say because I'm afraid that they're going to say the thing that they're going to say, so I'm just going to not say anything, right? So codependence is this future tripping, chess playing, almost like an automatic program or automatic video game that we're playing in our mind from moment to moment. But then when it comes to a more meta view, things that we're planning, things that we want to create, things that we envision that we want, whether it's building a business or whether it's being in a healthy relationship or whether it's building a shed, right? Or you want to learn to play a new instrument, or you're planning your retirement, or you're planning your career. Anything that is more of a long-term meta plan. And how many times have you had a plan and you just aborted it? This thing didn't work out, or I got afraid, or my brain was telling me when you wanted that thing and you set out for that thing, you were you were naive to the process, right? Or you were hung up on the high or the fantasy of what it was going to be. So then you committed to the thing, then you got into the thing, and then you were like, oh my God, I didn't realize it was going to be this, abort the plan, right? So it was more interesting when you were thinking and dreaming about it than when you actually took steps to create the vision. So how do we maintain the velocity in which we started to fulfill on our vision, and how do we actually plan as opposed to future tripping? In other words, future tripping is fantasy. Planning is really more like action items. I'm going to do steps 1 through 10, right? It's almost like a business plan. I'm going to do steps 1 through 10. These are action items. Future tripping is I thought that, or when I had kids, it wasn't going to be as time consuming, and it was just going to be all lovely and peaches and cream, and then you have the kid, and you're like, oh my God, I didn't know that how it was going to be, and that's part of the surprise of sticking with a plan. We actually don't know what it's going to be when we actually get to the point where our plan is fulfilled on. So we have to have a willingness to take each step along the way, notice our fears, notice what we're making things mean, notice if you're going to honor your commitment and the thing that you said that you're going to do, or if you're just going to abort the plan and go with life as usual, because maybe this plan was like going out on the skinny branches too much for you. And leaving room for life to shift and alter, that once you arrive at the place, like the business plan is complete, or the baby is coming, or you put a down payment on the house, that what starts to happen each step of the way is our nervous system starts to go, oh, this is a new context. I'm afraid, I'm scared, I don't know what to say, I'm not knowledgeable about this particular thing. So you start to want to abort a plan because of the things, because of the future tripping starts coming in. It's no longer a list of action items. Now once emotion and fear starts coming in, then you go, this isn't the way I envisioned it. You know why? Because when we envision plans, we don't envision that it's going to include fear. It's going to include an expanding of who we think we are. It's going to include maybe different types of people that we have to ask for help. So when you set out on a plan and you're planning something, I work with a lot of entrepreneurs, I work with a lot of healers, I work with a lot of people who are like, have been so used to being in a 9-to-5 world, they've garnered a decent level of success in their life, but with a job and potentially a partnership that didn't fit for them. But they sort of just got into that job, or they just got into that marriage, right? And now they're going, wait a minute, I want to reorient myself. Now I want to create my life as a life that fits more of who I think I am and who I know to be, and as a way to execute my talents, gifts, and passions, which sounds like a great idea. And then once you start along the path, you go, oh my God, this actually takes a lot of work. Oh my God, this actually takes parts of me, muscles that haven't yet been built. I didn't realize I would actually have to build new muscles for this thing, right? Because like to envision and plan something, you can use your current mind. To follow the path and have it come to fruition actually takes new and new and new and transformed iterations of your mind along the path until you get to the thing, right? Which I don't know if there's any sort of arrival point, but there's certainly ways, you certainly arrive in different phases. And then there's like the next phase, right? And then you're there, and then there's the next phase to continually evolve, heal, and transform in order to fill the space of the next phase that you're moving into. When you start fulfilling on every single thing you say you're going to do, right? You start a project, you complete it. You start a project, you complete it. You actually for myself and a good portion of us, and the way that I train my clients is you actually start to give your word to less things. Because when you trust yourself to fulfill on something, then you start to notice, I can't say yes to all these things. And not just yes to other people, but yes to all the things in your head, right? In your head, you go, I want to please that person, I want to please that person, I want to please that person. In your head, you go, oh my God, I have this idea, and I have that idea, and I have that idea. And then you like sort of like stopped by not knowing which idea to choose. But when you actually start fulfilling on your ideas and your visions, and the fulfillment comes from commitment, and the commitment comes from knowing that the journey of this thing is going to take newer and newer versions of myself. The reason why fear is going to come in, but the reason a lot of times why fear is paralyzing is because you haven't become willing to change and shift in order to become the person that executes on that kind of plan. Okay? Fear goes, you can't do this. And then you remain the person you are. You go, you're right, I can't do this. I'm not smart enough, or I'm not good enough, or I don't have the resources, and so the fear actually will talk to your traumatic identity or your default psychology, the way I say it in my work. Your fear will validate the voice in your head that goes, you're right, get the hell out of there, right? And if you've healed your default psychology, if you've healed the voice that validates your smallness, then fear, you'll notice the fear and you'll feel the fear, but it will have no place inside of you to rest and stop you. So, and I also want to include that in future tripping as well, because once fear sets in, then you start future tripping into how much you're going to screw it up and how much it shouldn't go that way and forget this plan and I did it wrong, I don't even want to do it, right? So future tripping will demolish where we want to take ourselves in our life. And when I help people fulfill on their vision, because the fulfillment of their vision is my vision. So my clients and the fulfillment of their vision is my vision. So I'm like a vision holder, right? I'm holding all these visions, and then I notice when the fear comes in, triggers their default, and then they want to step back, and I go, no, and I hold the vision, I hold their true desire for the fulfillment of that vision. Thanks for listening to my thoughts, theories, and rants. Way more material in the Trust Yourself Facebook group for free. I poured, my 12 years of coaching and training and 30 years of being in therapy into the Trauma to Truth Masterclass, like all my ideas and thoughts and the way in which I train people to move through their trauma. All free material, free 10 weeks of masterclasses, 3 a week, which is like 30 free classes. Trauma to Truth in the Trust Yourself Facebook group. You can join it down below. And then also we start our Attunement Ascension Masterclass next week for free in the Trust Yourself Facebook group, which is Life Beyond Default, which is all about your true nature, which is all about fulfilling on your vision and fulfilling on who deep down you know yourself to be when you are truly, truly aligned. And then awesome announcements coming next week and Friday with Fidelman. Have an awesome week. Please subscribe. Oh, and let me know if email me or PM me. What visions do you have that keep getting derailed or squashed, or you keep convincing yourself you shouldn't do that thing? What are the visions that you've had that either you've stopped or you're chugging along on it, but you notice you're getting like slowed down by just what your unconscious brain and your unhealed trauma is telling you? I liken it to the game of Donkey Kong. I don't know if any of you remember Donkey Kong, when the monkey kept throwing barrels in front of the donkey was trying to get up. So it's like, our default psychology keeps throwing barrels, to slow you down. And for me, the barrel is my default psychology, which is the loudest voice of my youngest unhealed trauma, is that I am less worthy than anything with a pulse. That is the barrel that just keeps getting put in my way every time I'm like, going out to fulfill. And of course, that voice has quieted down a lot, but it took many years. All right, so have an awesome weekend, guys. Thanks again for listening to my thoughts, theories, and rants. You are awesome. Happy healing, and life is now.